Monasteries serve as places of spiritual retreat, intellectual development, and hard manual labor, embodying values of poverty, chastity, obedience, and stability. These spaces provide a haven for monks, nuns, and lay brothers and sisters to lead lives dedicated to the service to God and others. There is no better place in the world to seek out divine inspiration than in the sacred halls of Europe's churches and monasteries. We've already seen the top Catholic churches, so let's take a look at the top 5 most spectacular monasteries in Europe. Number 5. Melk Abbey in Austria. Abbot Berthold Dietmeier and his architects left no stone unturned in their quest, from 1701 to 1736, to construct a sacred palace upon the foundations of a medieval monastery. The original site dates all the way back to the 11th century. The centerpiece of this complex is the library, its main hall boasting 16,000 volumes. A spiral staircase leads to another set of 12 library rooms, not open to the public, but containing more than 100,000 volumes, some of which are extremely valuable. The Abbey Church is well known and features exquisite details made out of the finest materials by famous Baroque artists. Melk Abbey is a place where monks live in accordance with the rules of Saint Benedict. Even though it is visited by 500,000 people every year, it is still a place of spirituality and a Catholic center. This is one of the reasons why Melk Abbey was voted the best historic destination worldwide at the 2008 stewardship rating of National Geographic Traveler magazine, reaching the highest score ever achieved. Number 4. Subiaco Abbey in Italy. Also known as the Monastery of Saint Scholastica, this site was originally founded in the year 520. The oldest of the monasteries founded by Saint Benedict was expanded and rebuilt over time, and its rich history is told by the 3 tombs in its interior, which are made in different styles: Renaissance, Gothic, and Cosmatesque. It was in one of the Subiaco caves that Benedict made his first hermitage. This cave is located a few kilometers from the abbey proper. The ancient shrine is attached to the side of the mountain, its structure supported by 9 high arcades. It can be visited in part by pilgrims and other visitors. Inside, the library and the museum contain more than 10,000 copies of handwritten and ancient printed works. Among the frescoes in the abbey is a representation of Saint Francis of Assisi, the oldest known portrait of the saint in existence, executed in his lifetime, during the period he spent in retreat at Subiaco in the 13th century. Number 3. Montserrat Monastery in Spain. The mountain of Montserrat, with the Benedictine monastery of Santa Maria de Montserrat, is located just outside of Barcelona. The natural park boasts an incredibly beautiful landscape, the fresh air, the breathtaking views of the Catalan hinterland, and the many scenic hiking trails leading to abandoned hermitages. Nature enthusiasts will fall in love with Montserrat. The monastery was founded in 1025 and rebuilt between the 19th and 20th centuries. With a community of around 70 monks, the abbey is still in use to this day. The site features a holy grotto, the Santa Cova, the basilica with the image of the Black Madonna, cloisters, and the library. The latter is one of the most important in Catalonia and has a collection of more than 300,000 volumes. It also has its own publishing company, with the first publications dating back to the 15th century. The museum showcases works by Caravaggio, El Greco, Monet, and Picasso. Number 2. Cluny Abbey in France. In the 10th century, a monastic reform movement occurred and developed in Cluny, imposing the strict observance of the rule of Saint Benedict. This reform movement then extended throughout Europe. The abbey began to thrive and soon became a spiritual capital. In its heyday, around the year 1100, Cluny and its monastic order held authority over 10,000 monks and 1,500 monasteries across Europe. At that time, the church there was the biggest in the world and remained as such until the construction of St. Peter's Basilica in the 17th century. The decline set in from the end of the Middle Ages. The French Revolution was a period of terrible waste in the history of France. The abbey became the target of an unscrupulous entrepreneur who used explosives to demolish the buildings, to sell on the stones as building materials. Almost nothing remains of the abbey, and just one bell tower stands at the heart of this small town. The building is used today as a prestigious engineering school, and 3D tours are available to see what the magnificent abbey used to look like. Number 1. Mont Saint-Michel in French Normandy. Last year, this historic abbey celebrated 1,000 years since its first stone was laid. The monument has since become one of the highest symbols of French Catholic identity and one of the most important pilgrimage sites in the world, with more than 3 million visitors a year. Standing on relatively inhospitable terrain, enthroned on a rocky islet less than a kilometer in diameter, surrounded by a vast sandy plain subject to the vagaries of the tides, the UNESCO World Heritage Site has stood the test of time, offering itself as a spectacle for dozens of generations to see. The abbey's position, on an island just a few hundred yards from land, made it accessible at low tide to the many pilgrims, and defensible as the incoming tide stranded, drove off, or drowned would-be assailants. This Benedictine abbey, founded in 966, was erected on a sanctuary dedicated to the Archangel Michael since the year 708 and conserves some vestiges of the Romanesque period. Abolished in 1789 and transformed into a prison until 1863, the abbey today is a monument that testifies to the Christian past, where the monastical presence is ensured by a small community.